into the old apartment. This is where we used to live.
Alrighty, a Wednesday morning, usually a visit with Krista Batten, but she can't get out of the driveway this morning. I don't know why.
I made it.
Yeah. Christian Maher joining us. Christian, you made it out, but you said your driveway was pretty slick.
I almost hit the side wall of my driveway coming out.
Oh, man.
I should have sanded the driveway last night.
Now, you were saying you were just moving. You had to, once you made your first snow pile, you ended up having to move your snow piles.
I have moved snow piles to make more room, so.
Wow.
Because I can only throw it so far. And, when you get to the point where you can't see the road to get out of your driveway without making just a blind turn into traffic, it's probably a good idea to knock those snow piles down.
Hey, it's good to see you. Glad you made it in this morning. What's going on?
Let's see. It's scholarship season.
Scholarship season.
So if you have a high school student, high school senior, in any one of our 4 Crawford County school districts, and you want to apply for a scholarship, get your student onto our website and have them apply, because the deadline is soon approaching.
Do you think a lot of students today miss out on those opportunities?
I know I did when I was that age. I wasn't mature enough to do that kind of thing. I'm pretty honest about that.
Yeah.
I think even if you've got the nagging parent who's saying, "Hey, you need to apply for scholarships. We're not made of money." It's they need to.
Okay, Mom. Okay, Dad.
Yeah, and truthfully, we see a lot more applications from girls. It's true that they're a bit more mature at that age. So, even if their grades are just the same as the boys just don't get off their butts and apply for the scholarships.
Well, my wife's still waiting for me.
Well.
I don't think they have scholarships for radio stations.
Well, no, we had a client come in yesterday, and she sat in the office, and she's looking at the toys in my office. She's like, "Oh, are these like your kids' toys?" No, they're mine. When we go to Toys R Us, I'm the one jumping up and down and racing to the entryway. But anyways, so yeah, that sounds about right. You see a lot, especially the graduation time when you're looking through the book and you see who's picked up scholarships.
Yeah, and so we've got scholarships for, like I said, every school district in Crawford County. And if you live in Venango County, call my colleague at the Bridge Builders Community Foundation. And so here in Titusville, we have the most money for scholarships of any of the other school districts. We've got the Casella Scholarship, the Ross R. and Shirley A. Casella Scholarship. That's $20,000 a year. So that's a highly competitive scholarship. We've sent a couple of kids to Mercyhurst and paid almost their entire bill with that scholarship, which is just amazing. We've got one student who goes to Penn State. We haven't quite paid their whole bill. Penn State's a little more expensive.
Hey, you get the first 2 months covered.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Are scholarships generally more available now than they were in the past? It just seems that's my experience.
I don't know. We have a lot of smaller scholarships. They're $200. It's worth the student to apply for them, but we're not gonna, like the Casella Scholarship is the odd one where we're paying for almost everything. Mm-hmm. So we've got a lot of little scholarships for things, so I think that there's a lot of those kind of things. It's the big scholarships that we'd like to see more of, that there are probably fewer of. But every little bit helps. I think a lot of that money does pay for books and your ancillary school fees. So yeah, we try to help as much as we can.
It's almost like folks going into business. They don't realize, they forget to calculate the cost of business cards and letterhead and all the little things. You get to, you think you're okay getting to school, and then you go into the bookstore, and it's $120 for one book.
Yeah, it's a little
used.
Yeah. Oh crap! The parking fee, that kind of thing too.
I cheated my way through that. Here's what I did. I tested a semester of parking tickets versus what the actual parking pass was, cost, and I ended up paying less with the parking tickets than buying the pass.
That's the trick.
I'm not recommending that, but that's
the trick to parking regularly in Oil City too.
I couldn't even afford a car, so.
Well, how many students? This is maybe a dumb question, but maybe think they don't qualify for a certain scholarship.
Well, and that's true. I mean, you have to, typically we're looking at the top quarter of your graduating class. So you want to have, because it's a competitive process, and if other students are applying, the kids in the bottom half of the class, unfortunately, are just not going to make the cut most of the time. And so, you look at the criteria on the website, make sure that your kid is kind of in the range, and then it's just left up to the fates of the people on the committee looking at the kids against one another and saying, okay, this is the kid who meets the criteria the best, and so we're going to get to that.
Does that, if you got somebody who's maybe on the edge, what's the recommendation? Just submit it?
Apply.
I mean, the worst case, they're going to say no,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, like with most things in life, you have to get used to disappointment sometimes.
Do you think, well, I don't want to get into this conversation. I was going to say, do you think society...
yes, I do.
Do you?
I think we coddle people a little too much sometimes.
Okay. See, that's... But why are we so afraid to fail? Or why are we so afraid of letting kids fail? And I'm not saying let them fall, but be there.
I think it builds character. I mean, I'm a big proponent of character education. We've got this new program in a lot of our schools in here in Titusville, this All About Character. I don't know if you've talked to Matt from All About Character, but he's a retired state trooper, and I mean, you see these outcomes from character development programs, and I mean, these are the kind of things that really make better people in the long run. They're more tenacious. They stick to things. They get work done, and they're not immediately like dejected when something doesn't go their way. So I think those are some fantastic. I'll have to introduce you to Matt.
That would be
Matt
great.
Harris, retired state trooper, fantastic guy.
That'd be great. I just remember, I can't remember which kid came home, and I'm looking, and I said, whoa, you missed all these problems here. And my kids are really good in school. They really are honor rolled. I mean, they do a great job. But I remember looking at a paper, and they missed a few more than I was hoping for. And I said, you missed these. Well, no, we were able to go back and fix them, so I got them right. Well, no, you missed them. You missed them. Initially, you got them wrong. So do we need to spend time going over that? But it was like, hey, we corrected it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't. It's fine if you're going back and showing them what they did wrong. But initially, I mean, you failed this part of this.
I remember being kind of a smart aleck in a couple of my high school classes where there would be an exam and it would say, name 3 out of 5 things you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And all you were required to do is to put 3 of them down. I'd fill out all 5, and I got credit taken away for putting down more than I needed to. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, so the reason I brought up All About Character actually is that's one of the programs that we funded in this last round of grants that we did. So it's a new and interesting program that we're hoping to support and hoping to see a little bit more from. And so also we've got grant money that will be available. The next deadline for that is June 15th. So people can apply anytime. It's just that we probably won't make a decision until the summer. And
so if you're a character, please apply.
And so if you're, if you've got a nonprofit organization that needs money for a project anywhere in Crawford County, even if you're not based in Crawford County, if your project is in Crawford County, because we got requests from Venango County and Mercer County for programs in our community, feel free to give me a call, ask about that.
I'm sure you see a lot of the same requests each and every year from folks, but is it exciting when you do come across something that's different or like what you were talking about with Matt and his program?
We see a lot of the same organizations apply, but usually they're asking for different things. Usually they've got a different project or something that they want to support, and so everybody needs a slightly different thing. Like we just bought lighting for the energy education trailer at the Drake Well Museum.
Oh, that's
and
neat.
so like before they've asked us for other things for that trailer, but it's always something different related to their mission. And so it's not like every time they come, hey, we need new lighting every year.
Right.
Like that would get a little repetitive.
I tell you, that's something that I think gets not a whole lot of publicity around here is that Meet You trailer.
It's pretty neat.
Oh, it's amazing. And when you look at budget cuts over the last couple of years and folks maybe not being able to take their field trips to Drake Well, for them to say, well, wait a second, we've got the trailer here, we'll come to you. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's really cool seeing it parked at the fair. And last year I got to go down to Pittsburgh, and it was set up outside PNC Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the energy event with the Pirates. It was amazing. It was like, there's the biggest billboard for Titusville in Crawford County. It was great.
Yeah. And speaking of Titusville, I'm just taking over the conversation here.
Go ahead. I'm going to just stay over here.
We also have a new Titusville fund, so money specifically for Titusville projects. And so we've always had money specifically for Titusville projects. We have our Fred Lintner fund that's about $300,000 that we give about 4.25% of each year. And so that's been a way that we've given out more money to Titusville than anywhere else in the county. But this new Titusville fund, we're hoping to grow over the course of time, and again, a specific pot of money for the Titusville community. Decided where that money goes will be decided by people here in Titusville. So I'm pretty excited about that. The Steinbuehler and Cressman families have given to some seed money to get that rolling. So
very nice.
We're hoping to see a lot of growth in that in the not too distant future.
7:52 is our time. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. What else is being discussed this time of year? What other projects are you guys working on?
Well, we're in the midst of strategic planning too, so that's always interesting to try and figure out. Okay, where do we want to be when we grow up? As a community foundation, we cover all of Crawford County. We've got the Erie Community Foundation above us, who have been around for about 80 some odd years, and they've got about $200 million. We're a lot smaller. We've only got about $15 million. And you try to prioritize where you put your resources, and so we're kind of in that process, trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to get the word out about what we do. What are the kind of projects that we should be focusing on? Where should our grant money be going, and all of that kind of thing. So it's an exciting time. It's also a little stressful trying to manage that process, but we'll get there.
You're headquartered in Meadville.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of interest from Lionsville or Conneaut Lake area?
Well, that's exactly the challenge. I mean, we've got we've got a lot of money here in Titusville. Actually, a third of our money is for Titusville projects and programs, scholarships, and the hospital and the YMCA and things like that. And we've got scholarships and things in Cochranton and Maplewood and elsewhere. We don't have quite the same impact in some of the outlying areas. Linesville is really hard. We don't have as much stuff going on there as we would like.
I often wonder that as much as Titusville complains sometime about not feeling part of the county. Well, the other side of that
I think Linesville.
Honestly,
I think Linesville probably gets it worse.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of things that they can complain about.
Yeah. So that's going to make it challenging. Now, how many people are on your board?
Let's see. In a perfect world, we'd have 18, but currently I've had 2 resignations of our Titusville board members, as I mentioned to you off air. One of them moved to Erie and has decided that that's not a great commute to come to board meetings 5 times a year. And another had a heart attack, so and is recovering from that. And we wish Dave Gagnon the best and understand he's on the mend. So it's been a challenging time trying to get more people from Titusville. So if you know some smart, connected kind of people in Titusville who would be interested in a volunteer opportunity.
Mark, he said smart, so. Well.
Oh, how cruel.
It's his birthday, too.
I know. Happy birthday, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
So is this something that, I guess with the strategic plan you guys are working on over the year, over the month, or is this something you guys want to try to get wrapped up?
It's over the year, yeah. We've got another 6 to 8 months of soliciting feedback from people.
So you need a strategic plan to do the strategic plan.
Kind of. Luckily, we have some help doing that. So
sometimes I feel like that. You go to, and I'm sure you experience this. You go and sit in on a meeting someplace, and they're talking about, and everybody talks about these big strategic plans we need to have in place. Then they sit there, and it's almost like they need something to help them get ready for the strategic plan.
Well, and that's why we're lucky to have people whose job it is to do that kind of thing. Like, I'm also on a committee where obviously we know that oil and gas is going to be a big thing here. Probably in about 5 to 10 years, at some point we're going to be doing a lot of drilling in Crawford County, and so there's a big push by a consortium of nonprofit organizations and banks to kind of get people to think about, I'm signing a gas lease. Maybe I can give like 5% of that back to charity. And so that money will always be there in the future. So we're trying to create this like Got Milk type campaign about charitable giving from your oil and gas assets.
Wow.
And you get about 50 people in a room, and you need somebody who can herd those cats and keep us moving in the right direction, because you have your moments of, come on, let's get to the point.
Well, you think about, and Mark and I have this conversation a lot, it's obviously getting tough for some of these organizations, and I don't know if that increases their need, say, things that you guys provide, but you're in a position where you also need to be reaching out and bringing money in.
Everybody's got to work smarter and harder and better and do it with fewer resources. And so, we're trying to do that as well as anybody. We've got a really small staff because you try to keep it lean, and you try to rely on your volunteers to do as much as they can. And it's a challenge. So, I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. We could obviously do a lot better. I mean, I've got to spend a lot more time in Titusville than I do, and I've got to spend a lot more time in Linesville and Cochranton and Cambridge Springs areas too. There's,
easier said than done, though.
It is.
I mean, you have phone calls you have to be taking, people that want to meet with you, and it's hard to.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can do remotely these days, though. I mean, we have everything on the cloud, so we can have people working remotely, just like a lot of the big businesses do.
How much do you think? And around here, it's easy for people to say, I don't understand it, so I'm not going to get involved. But how much do you think technology could help some of these smaller businesses?
Oh, I mean, I'm a big proponent of that kind of thing. Like our grant application process, our scholarship application process is all an online process. Like you as a student or you as a grant applicant need to fill out an online form and submit it to us. That is so much paperwork saved on our end. It's so much work saved from our administrative people. You just get an email in with all the information, and you create a PDF, and you can say, if you can get people on your committee to look at electronic documents rather than paper documents, which I haven't been able to quite get to yet, you can save a lot of money that way, and it's just doing things a little smarter, a little better, and that little 5% savings really does add up. So
Mark and I would get into those arguments, and finally it just came. I just stopped buying ink for the printer, and that sort of forced him to have to do everything online.
Yeah, he's got it. I've got the same, I've got the little iPad mini that I've got a lot of stuff on. I've got to start moving my presentations to that now.
Well, Christian, how can folks get a hold of you if they want to take any interest in what you guys are working on, or if they're smart and want to become a board member?
Yeah, and they can call me at 499-1852, and that is one of those amazing technological improvements, the Google Voice number that will ring you anywhere that you happen to be.
Really?
It'll ring your home phone, your office phone, and your cell phone all at the same time, and so you pick up whichever one you might need you might be nearest to. Or our website is crawfordheritage.org, and my email address is executive@crawfordheritage.org.
Well, very good. Always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Always a pleasure to be had.
And I know I said this to you last time, but we need to make this more consistent.
Hey, anytime. I'm
maybe a monthly visit with you.
Put it on the calendar.
There you go. We'll do that. Let's do that.